Good morning, beautiful ladies, and welcome to the ultimate customer experience, the ultimate CX. If you see me looking that way and I'm not looking at the camera, it's because I'm over here so I can keep an eye on what's happening. If you guys are hopping on and if you're commenting, I know for many of you, unused. I know for many of you there are time clashes because of time zones. So many of you will be watching this on replay. If that is you, I would love for you to comment hashtag replay in the comments. And if you're just joining us, welcome. It's great to have you here. So just a quick how's it about me? So my name is Odette de Beer. I am the CEO of Amplify Your Business, and we empower female-owned businesses to create money-making machines by differentiating on experience they deliver so that they can live the life that they've always dreamed of. Today, I'm going to share with you 7 steps to creating the ultimate customer experience in your business. So let's talk about dates. Most of us have been on a bad date, one that was an absolute disaster, and maybe it was awkward or it was just a little bit uncomfortable. Just things just weren't vibing right, or it could have been such a disaster that you regretted it the minute you walked in there and you thought, oh my goodness, what have I done? So I know I've been there. I remember sitting outside the restaurant wishing for the date to end, and when it finally did, it felt like the longest hour of my life. I never spoke to the guy again, and the reason for that was because there was no respect. His ego was just way too much for me. I mean, he was oozing ego like you cannot imagine, and that was just not my vibe. And after that, I mean, the date ended. I was polite and cordial, but I had never spoken to him again. And if I did cross him in the street, excuse me, I would walk in the opposite direction very quickly to avoid him and not bump into him. So that's a date versus a really good date where I met my husband, he made me laugh, it was amazing. I can remember the first date we had. I can hear the sounds in my mind that was playing in the background. I can still smell the ambient scent that was in the restaurant. And when I think about it, it makes me smile. So those are 2 very contrasting experiences. And we're here today to talk about customer experience. So the question is, what does customer experience have to do with dating? You see, your customer experiences you on a journey in their lives. And when they connect with us, they essentially date us. Sometimes we are lucky and they jump in head first and, everything just happens. They become loving, loyal customers. And at other times, they need to warm up to us. They need to get to know us before they actually like us, trust us, and buy for us. Those are essential things. So the experience that our customer has with our brand leaves them with a particular feeling. That feeling informs their attitudes towards us, and that in turn influences their behavior. Really, the behavior that you want from your customer is that they will buy more, stay longer, and recommend you to friends and family. That's simple, right? Wrong. You see, most organizations are inconsistent about their customers and their experiences. Let me explain. My daughters love Build-A-Bear. So the first time we took them, it was an impromptu visit. It was unplanned. We arrived and it was just amazing. The experience was awesome. The atmosphere was fantastic. The lady that was leading the bear song was enthusiastic and she was just full of oomph and ooze and life. And listening to that, it was a magical experience. I mean, as a bystander, I had goosebumps. That's how awesome it was. So needless to say, my daughters loved it so much that they wanted to have their birthday there, and I agreed to have my youngest birthday at Build-A-Bear. I expected it to be as amazing as the first time because they've now had an opportunity to plan. No, that was not the case. We arrived that day at Dead Man's Door. They were unprepared. There was no music in the shop. The shop wasn't clean. They didn't know we were coming. It was an absolute mess. They looked at us and they were like, oh, we weren't supposed to have a party today. So if we had done something wrong, I suppose I would have understood a little bit, but we had made the booking in person. We paid the deposit. I checked the date and time with them 3 times. This day, this time, are you ready? Are you okay? Cool, no problem. And yet when we got there, they were unprepared. They didn't know what was happening. So they finally got themselves together. They got their act together and they started the party, which also left much to be desired. The young lady who facilitated the party actually looked like we were really taking up her time and like she was doing us a favor. She forgot key things in the song which the girls were really looking forward to, and it was just a meh experience, which is quite sad, because if you now ask me if having a Boulder Bear party is a good idea, I would probably say, hell no, it's not a good idea. Everyone got their bear, but the experience is not at all what we expected. So from that perspective, it's quite sad, because the way that they got us there the second time is by creating this magical, memorable experience the first time. So what is the problem? It's consistency. The missing element is consistency. Your customers are not necessarily looking for spectacular, mind-blowing events. They are looking for experiences that are memorable and consistent. I want to know what I can expect, and I want the memory to be the same. Now, the big question is, why should you care about customer experience? So companies who successfully implement a customer experience strategy achieve higher customer satisfaction rates, they reduce customer churn, and they increase revenue and profit. So there's a bit of a business case here, you see. Research by the American Express company found that 86% of customers are willing to pay more for a better experience. In my Double Your Revenue Masterclass, we talk about raising your prices. Now, I want to warn you, if you're going to be raising your prices, you have to make sure that your experience matches those prices. Recently, the Temkin Group published a study that found companies that earn $1 billion annually can expect to earn an average $700 million extra within the first 3 years of investing in customer experience. So that's a 70% increase in revenue in just 36 months. Now, customer service and customer experience is the same thing, right? Wrong. It's not. Not remotely, not even a little bit. Customer experience, also known as CX, is defined by the interactions your customers have along your entire journey, from the minute that they meet you the first time right through until they become loyal customers. Whereas customer service is one single interaction. It's the telephone call, it's the purchasing decision, it's one interaction. The experience spans across the entire journey. So CX is an integral part of customer relationship management. And it's important because a customer who has a positive experience with a business is more likely to become a repeat loyal customer. In fact, according to the global CX study by Oracle, they found that 74% of senior executives believe that customer experience impacts the willingness of a customer to become a loyal advocate. So advocacy talks about them recommending you. So if you want your customers to be loyal, you must invest in their experience. Obviously. Well, let's look at some statistics because, it's important to back it by numbers. Customers vote with their feet. 33% of customers says that they will leave after just one negative experience. Conversely, if you get the experience right, they are willing to pay 13 to 18% more. When it comes to raising your prices, like I said before, if you're going to raise them, make sure that your experience matches the price. The cost of keeping a loyal customer is a fraction of your acquisition cost for a new customer, and loyal customers spend more, which increases your lifetime value of your customer. So it's extremely important that you focus on the experience you deliver for your customer. As I mentioned earlier, customer service is a single interaction, whereas customer experience is the interaction and experiences your customer has with your entire business throughout the whole journey, from first interaction to becoming loyal customers. unfortunately, less than half of companies deliver a good experience. So statistics have shown that annual revenue increase per customer, the first 3 years is 1 times more. If you've been able to keep them with you for 10 years, they spend 2.4 times more with you than they did in the beginning. So there is an accumulative growth here that you want to pay attention to. So if great customer experience is focused on ensuring all interactions and touch points with your business is enjoyable, easy, and seamless, then the exact opposite is true when it comes to bad customer experiences. More than $62 billion is lost each year to bad customer service. Meanwhile, another study found that 91% of unhappy customers leave a brand without complaining. That brand never had a chance to fix it. It doesn't get any better. Only 10% of consumers say that brands meet their good customer experience expectations. So, common causes of a poor customer experience. These aren't rocket science, guys. Difficult purchasing processes. Have you looked at your purchasing process? Is it easy to buy from you? Negative experiences with your support team. Have you trained them? Have you told them how to deal with your customer? Compromising customers' personal information. Big no-no. Waiting too long on hold. I agree. And obviously ignoring their feedback. So we all want to take their feedback, but nobody responds to it and fixes things. So the question here is, how can you create a great customer experience strategy? So we're going to look at 7 ways to improve your customer experience. First is to create a clear customer vision. So it must be customer focused and it must be communicated across your organization. The easiest way to define your vision is to create a set of statements that act as guiding principles. For example, Zappos use their core family values, and these values are embedded into the culture, which includes delivering through service and enabling being humble and enabling change. So these principles are in place. They will drive behavior in your organization. Every member of your team should know these principles off by heart, and they should be embedded in your training and your development. The next step in building a great customer experience is to bring to life the different types of customers who you support. Your organization really needs to understand the wants and needs of each customer. When the need comes up, you need to be able to connect and empathize with them and the different experiences and situations that they face. One way to do the segmentation of your customer is by creating customer profiles or customer personas, or they also talk about the ideal avatar. So try to give your persona a name and a personality. For example, Anne is 35 years old. She likes technology. She's tech savvy, and it's easy for her to follow a video tutorial on her own. Versus John, who's 42 years old. He needs to be able to follow clear instructions on a web page. By creating your personas, your customer support team can recognize who they are and understand them better, which means that they will be able to support them better. And this is just the first step in becoming a truly customer-centric organization. So you've heard the phrase, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. The best customer experiences are achieved when the member of your team creates an emotional connection for your customer. One of the best examples of creating an emotional connection, again, is Zappos. When the Zappos customer was late on returning a pair of shoes due to her mother passing away, Zappos found out what had happened, and they took care of the return shipping and had a courier pick up the shoes without cost to the customer. But they didn't stop there. The next day, the customer arrived home to a bouquet of flowers with a note from the Zappos customer service team sending their condolences. I mean, can you imagine? Research by the Journal of Consumer Research has found that 50% of the experience is based on the emotion, as emotions shape attitudes that drive decisions. Remember I said the way you leave them feeling changes the way they behave. It's their attitude that gets influences, which then changes their behavior. So it's about connecting with them on an emotional level. Customers become loyal because they are emotionally attached and they remember how they feel when they used your product or service. The business that optimizes for an emotional connection outperforms their competitors by 85% in sales growth. So that's enormous. And that is enough for me to say, let's invest in experiences. According to a recent Harvard Business Review study, The New Science of Customer Emotions, emotionally engaged customers are at least 3 times more likely to recommend a product or service, 3 times likely to repurchase, less likely to shop around, up to 44%, and much less price sensitive. So 33% that they would need a discount of more than 20% to defect to a different brand or supplier. Once you've got the emotional connection, you need to use real-time feedback. So how can you tell if you are delivering the experience that you intended, whether it be wow, whether it be meh, whether it just be consistent? You need to ask. And ideally, you do this by capturing real-time feedback. You can use live chat tools, real-time conversations, send follow-up emails to your customers asking them, how was your experience with us? You could do MailChimp, you could do polls, Trustpilot asks for feedback and interactions, rate our interaction from 1 to 5. Of course, it is possible to make outbound sales calls to customers in order to gain more insight into their experience, but there are ways that you can set it up beforehand that's very organic and that follows your process. It's important to tie your customer feedback to a specific customer support agent. So specific interaction and a specific person, which shows every team member the difference what they are making to the business. And then it gives you an opportunity to create customer heroes through your teams. And that's really, really important. Now, by following these steps, you know what your customer thinks about the quality of your service compared to your customer experience principles you've defined. The next step is to identify the training needs which each individual in your customer team requires. Many organizations assess the quality of a phone or an email conversation, but a quality framework takes assessment one step further by scheduling and tracking team development through coaching, e-learning, and group training. Once you understand the experience you wish to deliver and you start measuring that experience and you get real-time feedback, you're able to tweak and improve your developmental areas or conversations with your team, which gives them real-time feedback and an actionable feedback on how they're doing and what they can do differently to improve. Most organizations have an annual survey process where they capture overall feedback from their customers, how engaged they are, and the business's ability to deliver on their exceptional service. But what happens in the 11 months between the survey? Usually nothing. That's the reality. And this is where continuous employee feedback plays a role, using tools that allow your staff to share ideas on how to improve their experience and for managers to see how the staff are feeling towards the business. Hands down, your employees who are dealing with your customers firsthand know what the customer issues are. They know how to fix them. And if they don't necessarily know how to fix them, I can assure you that they probably have some really great ideas of how you could make it better. The key is creating an open environment to get that feedback from them so that you can start assessing them. And it doesn't mean that you have to implement every single idea or every single thing that someone says, oh, I suggest. You don't have to do that, but you do need to hear them out, assess them against your customer experience principles so that you can see whether or not it's aligned with your brand and what values you hold. And if it does, determine how you could implement that. You will be creating a connection with your employee, which means that they are no longer just there to collect a paycheck. They are now invested in that experience. They are invested in your company. People who come for a paycheck, don't care less. Do it, don't do it. Experience good, experience bad, it doesn't matter. But when your employees are able to connect and feel like they're part of something bigger, like they have an impact, then they start delivering on a way higher level. And that's before you even start paying them more for what it is they do. That's just their attitude towards you. Happy employees create happy experiences. And this is very, very, very important. Using project management software, social media tools, you can really create a closed environment where your organization can leave continuous feedback. So to keep closing the loop and making sure that you get up to date with what's going on. Finally, how do you know if your investments in your teams, your process and technology are working and paying off? The answer is your business results. Measuring customer experience is one of the biggest challenges faced by organization, which is why most companies use Net Promoter Score or NPS, which collects valuable information by asking the single straightforward question, would you recommend this company to friends or relatives? NPS, which was created by Rob Markey and Fred Reichelt at Bain & Company, is a highly suitable benchmark for customer experience metrics because a lot of companies use it. The fact is that it's simple to implement, and to measure NPS is easier. It's a scale of 0 to 10. Would you recommend us on a scale of 0 to 10? Your customer selects a number and you know what to do with it. If your experience is amazing and it's consistent, you will be able to see your loyal customers return to you more often, which will increase your customer lifetime value. So I want to challenge you. Go and look at your existing customers. Go write down who they are, when they joined, and how much have they spent with you to date. If they've left, ask yourself, why did they leave? Was it that you've only got a one-time product? Or was it that the experience was not good? Was it the product that was faulty, or the service? Next, look at those same customers that were happy and see if they return to you. How often do they return to you? The ultimate ROI of customer experience is that customers return, they buy more frequently, and they stay longer with you. So when it comes to creating a great customer experience, it's important to take into consideration the entire journey. You can't look at it in isolation. It's not just purchasing, it's not just complaints, it's not just claims. It's the entire journey. McKinsey research suggests that customer experience journeys are significantly more strongly correlated with business outcomes and touch points. This means that you need a clear understanding of the end-to-end experience with customers and how interactions at each touch point is received by them. And you have to remember that it's got to be from their perspective and not yours. I've recently had a conversation with a client who was telling me all about how their experience with their clients was going and what they expected. But it's not about what you expect. It's about what your customer wants, what your customer needs from you, and how you can deliver that. By doing that, you are creating the right to a sustainable business because you are delivering for your customer. And focusing on your customer's journey and identifying the problems within them offers new opportunities to create a great customer experience. It also enables your team to brainstorm ideas to reduce friction, improve your business relationship, and increase growth. When it comes to performance, a customer journey is 30 to 40% more strongly correlated with customer satisfaction than performance on touchpoint is, and 20 to 30% more strongly correlated with your business outcomes. So if you understand the journey, if you can map your journey to your customer and create memorable experience, you are able to get customers to buy more, stay longer, and recommend you. So I hope you have found this useful. in the chat box. Let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're watching the replay, remember to say #replay. If you need any help on creating a customer experience and you want to find out how you can work with us and how we can help you improve your business, um, comment in the chat box, contact me, and we'll hop on to an assessment and contact you to see if there is a match. In the meantime, I wish you a blessed and prosperous week. Go and create ultimate experiences so that your customers will buy more, stay longer, and recommend you. Until next week, have a great one. Cheers, guys.